Okay, Mike, I think we can hop into the second segment now. So, we should probably get a list of games that came out in January, but
There's
I
three that I can think of that really mattered.
yeah, I think you're right. So, why don't you start us off while I bring up in case we miss anything else? But what we're gonna do here is I think we're just gonna pick the best game of January and maybe pick like two runner ups, so it might work
Sure.
very well for
Well,
January.
the three I can think of for what Celeste, uh,
Yep.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and I had three in my head, and I'm
Monster
blanking on
Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World. That's yeah, Monster Hunter World. Obviously, those are the three big ones.
Right. All right.
Was there
So,
anything else you can really think of?
all right. So you said Celeste, Dragon
Mhm.
Ball Fighters, Monster Hunter
Monster
World.
Hunter.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, Street Fighter Five Arcade Edition. No,
Mm.
no, thank you.
Dissidia was earlier this month, as was.
Yeah, Dissidia was for January
Did
30th.
Shadow of the Colossus actually come out yet? That is
That
a February game, right?
that came out like 2 days ago. Yeah, it was like February 6th is when that came out.
Okay.
So yeah, not quite. We'll discuss that next month.
So
Yeah. So yeah, what are you thinking? Like, what jumps out to you at first? I mean, I think if we're picking like a top three easily, it's those three games. I think we could throw away the rest of the
yeah.
month. I could go back and forth on some of these being the number one game of the month, though.
Yeah, Celeste is the one I've really been enjoying the most lately.
Hmm.
I think it's very interesting. It's clever. It's pretty, super fun to play. Uh, just it terms like it's probably the indie game I've enjoyed the most since Shovel Knight.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
It does feel like it has filled that place in my heart where it's like, okay, maybe there'll be another Shovel Knight. Probably not. No one else is going to be that good at it. And Team Meat, they made Super Meat Boy forever ago, and nothing's really matched that either in terms of just quality, like 2D platforming and a retro style. And then this game comes along, and it's just, man, it just keeps getting better and better. It feels so good. The writing nails it. It's a really good story. The music is excellent. It's really solid all around. And then at the same time, though, I Monster Hunter World is an incredible achievement. It is
it's one of the most satisfying grind loops I've
right.
seen in an RPG in a while. Just always fun to go out there, do your thing, come back, and just like all the little flourishes, like the little cat animation cooking the food, all these little moments like that.
Yeah,
It's just very well put together. And
yeah,
again, there's nothing really quite like that. I mean, there are things, but it is interesting how Monster Hunter World is like the better multiplayer RPG thing on a console than like Destiny 2 is, right?
hmm
Like, how does that happen?
yeah. That's exactly the thing I keep thinking about. It's like this is the game that is going to definitely become the new Destiny, and the way that people were playing Destiny, all year long, and then the expansion would come out, and they'd get very excited about that, play that, and there's a core group of people that were just looking up Destiny information online nonstop, and in droves. It's a huge group, and Destiny 2 has definitely lost them. Activision admitted as much in their investor call yesterday. Following their earnings release, they're like, "Yeah, player engagement has really dropped off, and that's what we're worried about the most right now."
It
And
should be.
yeah, they really should. And Monster Hunter World is right there to pick up the slack and to say, "Hey, no, we got you. We got a loop that works. We got a loop that might last 1,000 hours. For some people, it's going to last
Yeah.
multiple thousands of hours."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the fact that Capcom made that work and they made it more palatable to someone like me, who was probably never going to get into the older versions of the game, and they also really they paid off the jump to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They made the game look like a modern release in a way that really serves the game well, especially when it comes to the animations of the monsters themselves.
Oh yeah.
How about Dragon Ball Fighters?
Dragon Ball Fighters is great. It's probably the least impressive of three. I mean, the most impressive thing about it is that cel shaded look of the
Right.
game, which they did already actually do in Guilty Gear Xrd. That
For
just
sure.
wasn't a licensed thing. It didn't get as much notice, which is strange. So like, it got so little notice that like I think this is the first time a lot of people even saw this.
Yeah,
I remember
absolutely.
I remember I was playing Guilty Gear Xrd. I was like, why are people talking about this? This looks incredible.
Yes, that game was one of the best looking games that came out that year.
Yeah.
One of the best looking games that ever came out up to that point. And then they just did the same thing with a bunch of characters that people recognize, and it looks exactly
Right.
like how they remember them, and that blew people away, understandably.
It is actually super fun to play, and I do like that it is a bit more accessible than a lot of other Arc System games. I haven't really delved into story mode yet, so I can't comment on that. Yeah,
you can
that's
take
what
it
I
or
kind of
leave
hear.
it. It's okay. It's not the worst thing. I don't know. The story mode is the story parts of the story mode are worth skipping over. I think it's kind of fun to like get their tutorial in the story mode. That works pretty well. I think. They do a good job of building that stuff out.
I'm enjoying it a lot, but it's probably the lesser of these three.
I think so.
It's between Celeste and Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I do think personally I would go for Celeste. I think I'm madly in love with this game. Like it's the best way to. It's definitely
It's definitely the game that I can most easily imagine being on my top 10 still at the end of the year.
For sure, exactly. Like Monster Hunter World will have to continue to bring me back in, like, and just by the nature of the way it's built. Like I could spend all the time in the world with it right now, and then in a couple months, if I'm not like, I'm still not going back to Monster Hunter. What's wrong with that game? Even if I had stopped playing Celeste forever ago, because Celeste is supposed to be a contained experience. Monster Hunter is supposed to be this game where you can come back forever and ever. And maybe it's unfair to hold against it if I'm having a really good time now. But I'm going to want to see how that plays out and how any additional content comes in and builds out that game and keeps it interesting and fresh. So, yeah, I agree. Like we'll see if that game ends up in my top 10. Celeste almost certainly will be. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm comfortable calling it for Celeste for January's game of the month.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and maybe we could just go ahead and rank the other two. So it's just number 2 would be Monster Hunter World, and number 3 Dragon Ball Fighters, and then number 4
there are
all the other shit,
things,
all the rest of the garbage. No, there's some other good games, I'm sure. We'll come back with February in maybe 3 or 4 weeks. What's to look forward to? We got I guess Shadow of the Colossus for sure.
We already had Shadow.
Civ 6, Rise and Fall.
That Kingdom Come Deliverance with some people.
Yeah, that's looking pretty hot. I just got it installed, so I'm just actually going to finally give it a shot.
Dude, Metal Gear Survive on the 20th. Oh, baby.
God, really? That's coming out this month. Holy moly. I can't believe that's actually happening.
It's happening.
I wish Bayonetta 3 was coming out, but 1 and 2 collection, that's fine. A lot of ports to the Switch. A lot of those. A lot of expansions for strategy games. Stellaris is getting Apocalypse on the PC. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, it might come down to Metal Gear and Kingdom Come and Shadow of the Colossus. We'll see. Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is still pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right, Mike. Let's wrap this up. Thanks for showing up this week. I'm sorry you missed 69. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just start counting over again. This could be episode 1 again. We'll just go back up and we'll make it happen again. 70 episodes though. It's a pretty long time.
Pretty good.
Yep, not absolutely. Bad. All right, we're wrapping this up. Mike, tell everybody where they could find you on the internet.
Well, I'm always writing at GamesBeats.com. You can follow me on Twitter it's so hard to do this when you're pretending to drive. You can follow me on...
I'm driving the GamesBeat Decides bus. Yeah, we're going to Podcast Town. Yeah.
I'm Tolkoto on Twitter, and I'm always doing the Exploding Barrel podcast with my brother at ebpodcast.com.
You guys going to talk about your trip?
Probably, yeah.
Looking forward to it. Good. I am Jeff Grubb on Twitter. I'm also on Twitch at twitch.tv/JeffGrubb. I was playing with this steering wheel on there last night. I'm playing Spin Tires right now, the game I didn't really talk about that I was thinking about maybe talking about. That game's still very, very, very good to me.
Now you're just going to talk about it.
I know. I just keep thinking about it. It's just like you just drive trucks through mud and you get stuck and you have to get them out with winches and stuff and other trucks and deliver loads of logs, and it's completely Eastern European in aesthetic. It's very good. I'm playing that right now on twitch.tv. I think that's going to be my main thing, especially with the steering wheel because it works really well with that game. So show up there. I also have some videos going up on youtube.com/JeffreyGrubb. That's where I put up sort of a breakdown of the system settings and stuff for the Super NT. You kind of get a really good look at the stuff there and just how good the games look when you capture them off the device, which is very good. Probably the best looking versions of those games. And I think that's going to do it. Mike, we'll be back next week. Until then, I think we should just say goodbye to all these people and let them get on with their lives.
Goodbye to all these people. Let them get on with their lives.
Go live your lives, people. Leave us and come back next week.
Yeah, go. It's the weekend.
Bye.
Need more beer.
Oh, man, that sounds good.